The transport ship rattled as it descended through Drakenhold's atmosphere, and Owen Fletcher pressed his face against the small window. Below him stretched the most incredible sight he had ever seen. Massive crystalline towers rose from the purple landscape, each one glowing with soft blue light. Between the towers, enormous creatures with wings circled in the sky. Dragons, real dragons. Owen still could not believe his luck. 3 months ago, he was cleaning animal pens on a tiny farm outside Denver. Then the Tavrilian Empire opened a hiring program for humans. The pay was decent, the housing was free, and Owen would get to work with alien animals. He signed up immediately. The reality hit him hard when he stepped off the transport. The facility was enormous. It made the biggest building on Earth look like a toy. Tavrilian workers moved everywhere, their tall gray bodies and 4 arms making them look both graceful and intimidating. They barely glanced at Owen as he stood there with his single bag. "Human worker, follow me," a voice said. Owen turned to see a Tavrilian in a black uniform. The alien's face had no expression that Owen could read. "I am Headmaster Keelan. You will work in the lower maintenance division. Your duties include stall cleaning, waste removal, and basic equipment care. Do not interact with the dragons. Do not speak to the trainers unless they address you first. Do not enter restricted areas. Understood?" "Yes, sir," Owen said quickly. Keelan led him through corridors that seemed to go on forever. Through windows, Owen saw dragons of every color and size. Some were small, barely bigger than horses. Others were massive, their heads alone the size of cars. Tavrilian trainers worked with them in large arenas, using long poles with crackling ends that made the dragons flinch and obey. Owen frowned but said nothing. His quarters were small but clean. 1 bed, 1 desk, 1 bathroom. The walls were bare metal. Keelan gave him a work schedule and left without another word. The next morning, Owen reported to the maintenance supervisor, a tired-looking Tavrilian named Garen, who seemed grateful to have help. "Humans work cheap," Garen said with what might have been approval. "Good, lots of work here. Start with the western wing stalls. Clean them all. Food and water systems, too." Owen got to work. The stalls were huge, built for creatures much larger than any Earth animal. The smell was strong, but not terrible. As he worked, he watched the dragons. They watched him back. Most seemed calm, even friendly. They made soft rumbling sounds when he walked past. Owen started talking to them quietly, the way he used to talk to the horses back home. "Hey there, big guy. You having a good day?" "Yeah, I bet you are." The dragons seemed to like it. On his 3rd day, Owen heard shouting from the maximum security wing. That section was supposed to be off limits, but the noise was so loud he could hear it from 3 corridors away. Curiosity got the better of him. He walked closer, staying in the shadows. Through a reinforced window, he saw something that made his stomach turn. A dragon filled the center of a large cell. She was enormous, easily the biggest dragon Owen had seen. Her scales were deep crimson, almost the color of blood, with black horns that curved back from her head. Beautiful and terrifying. But what the Tavrilians were doing to her was not beautiful at all. 6 trainers surrounded her, led by a large Tavrilian wearing gold insignia. They held long poles that sparked with electricity. The dragon had thick metal collars around her neck and legs, attached to chains bolted into the floor. She roared and pulled against the chains, her wings spreading as far as the restraints allowed. "Submit," the lead trainer shouted. He jabbed the pole into her side. The dragon screamed, a sound of pure pain that made Owen's hands shake. "You will obey." The dragon thrashed harder. Her tail smashed into the wall, cracking the stone. One of the smaller trainers got too close, and she snapped at him with jaws full of teeth like swords. The trainer barely jumped back in time. "Sedate her," the lead trainer commanded. "Bever's out. This creature is beyond saving." 2 more trainers rushed in with injection guns. They fired darts into the dragon's shoulders. Within seconds, her movement slowed. Her roars became weak groans. She collapsed onto the floor, her sides heaving. 47 sessions, Bever said, disgust clear in his voice. 47 attempts to break this beast. She has injured 19 trainers, cost us hundreds of thousands in medical care and damaged equipment. I recommend immediate termination. 1 more week, another voice said. Owen recognized Headmaster Keelan. The military paid enormous sums for this bloodline. She is the largest dragon ever bred. 1 more week, Beverus. If she shows no progress, we will put her down. The trainers left. Owen stood frozen. watching the drugged dragon breathe slowly on the floor. Her eyes were half open, and even through the drugs, Owen could see something in them. Not evil, not mindless rage, fear, pain, desperation. That night, Owen could not sleep. He kept seeing that dragon, chained and shocked and broken. He had seen animals abused before, back on Earth, and it always made him angry. But this felt different. This felt personal. Around midnight, he made a decision that he knew was probably stupid. He left his quarters and made his way to the maximum security wing. The night shift was light, just a few guards who barely noticed one human maintenance worker. He found her cell. The dragon was awake, lying on her side. The chains were still on, but loosely now. She watched him approach the window with eyes that gleamed in the darkness. Owen put his hand on the glass. "I am so sorry," he whispered. "Nobody should treat you like that, nobody." The dragon stared at him. For a long moment, neither of them moved. Then slowly, carefully, the dragon lifted her head. She crawled closer to the window until her massive face was just inches from Owen's hand. Her breath fogged the glass. Owen smiled sadly. "I am going to help you. I do not know how yet, but I promise I will try." The dragon made a sound soft and low, almost like a question. "My name is Owen," he said. "I will be back tomorrow."
Is that okay?
The dragon blinked slowly. Owen took that as a yes. 3 nights in a row, Owen returned to the maximum security wing after his shift ended. 3 nights of sitting outside that reinforced window, talking softly to the crimson dragon inside. He told her about Earth, about his family's small farm, about the horses he used to care for. He did not know if she understood his words, but she always watched him with those intelligent eyes. On the 4th night, Garen caught him. "What are you doing here, human?" The supervisor's voice was not angry, just confused. "This wing is restricted. That dragon is dangerous." "I am just talking to her," Owen said quietly. "She seems lonely." Garen's face did something odd, like he was trying to understand a difficult concept. "She is a failed asset. Talking will not change that." "Go back to your quarters," Owen obeyed, but he had a new plan. If he could not visit at night, he would find reasons to be near her during the day. The next morning, he approached Garen with his request. "The stalls near the maximum security wing need maintenance too, right?" "I can clean those. Save you the trip." Garen considered this. "Those stalls are mostly empty. But yes, they need work." "Fine, add them to your route." "Perfect." Owen started spending his mornings in that section. He worked slowly, carefully, always talking just loud enough for the dragon to hear. He never looked directly at her cell. He pretended to focus entirely on his work, but he made sure she could hear him. "Good morning. Hope you slept okay. I brought extra water today." The temperature controls in this section are weird, right? Must get hot in there. Days passed. The dragon began responding to his presence. When Owen arrived, she would lift her head immediately. When he spoke, her ears would twitch toward his voice. When he left, she would watch him go. Other dragons in the section started acting differently too. They were calmer when Owen was around. They made friendly sounds when he walked past. Even the difficult ones seemed easier to handle. One of the younger trainers noticed. "The human has a strange effect on the beasts," the trainer told his colleague, loud enough for Owen to hear. "They quiet when he passes. Perhaps humans emit some calming scent." Owen bit back a laugh. It was not a scent. It was just basic kindness. On his 10th day working that section, Bevrus appeared. The senior trainer was even more intimidating up close. His gold insignia marked him as the highest-ranked trainer in the facility. His forearms were thick with muscle, and his face held permanent disapproval. "You are the human," Bevrus said, looking Owen up and down like he was examining a bug. "I hear you spend much time near the red dragon." "Just doing my job, sir," Owen replied. "Cleaning the stalls. Stalls that take you twice as long to clean as they should." Bevrus stepped closer. "Let me be clear, human. That dragon is a killer. She has hurt many of my best trainers. She will be terminated in 3 days. Do not waste your time developing attachment to a dead creature. With respect, sir. Maybe she acts that way because of how she's treated." The words were out before Owen could stop them. Bevrus went very still. "Explain that statement." Owen's heart pounded, but he kept going. "I have worked with animals my whole life. Back on Earth, we learned that scared animals fight back. But if you treat them with respect, with patience, they respond differently. Maybe she is not a killer. Maybe she is just terrified." "Humans," Bevrus said with clear disgust. "You think your soft methods work on everything. These are dragons, not your earth pets. They respond to strength, to dominance, to clear hierarchy. Your planet's animals are weak. These creatures require firm control. He leaned down, bringing his face level with Owen's. Stay away from that dragon. This is your only warning. Beverus left. Owen's hand shook, but not from fear. From anger. That afternoon, Owen learned more about the dragon from the maintenance staff. Her name in their system was Asset 7743, but some of the workers called her Ashfire because of her color. She had been the largest hatchling in her generation, separated from her mother within hours of birth. The Tavrillians believed early separation made dragons more obedient. It had done the opposite with Ashfire. She had been trained using increasingly harsh methods. Shock collars, food deprivation, isolation, physical punishment. Every technique designed to break her spirit and force submission. But Ashfire never submitted. She fought every time, got stronger every time, more resistant every time. Now they were giving up. Owen made his decision during lunch. He returned to the maximum security wing, waited until the corridor was empty, and did something incredibly stupid. He used his maintenance override code to open the observation door. Not the cell itself, just the door that let trainers enter the observation corridor. He stepped inside. The dragon's cell was separated from him by reinforced transparent aluminum, but now only 10 feet separated them instead of a corridor's width. Ashfire's head snapped up. Her eyes locked onto him. Owen sat down on the floor cross-legged, making himself small and non-threatening. He took a deep breath. "Hello, Ashfire," he said softly. "My name is Owen. I want to help you, but I need to know if you understand me." "Can you understand what I am saying?" The dragon stared at him. "If you can understand, please move your right front foot." Nothing happened for several long seconds. Owen's hope began to fade. Then Ashfire deliberately lifted her right front foot and placed it down again. Owen's breath caught. "Oh my God, you do understand. They have been shocking you and hurting you. And you understand everything they say. You know exactly what they think of you." Ashfire's eyes seemed to confirm it. "Okay," Owen said, his mind racing. "Okay. They are going to kill you in 3 days. I cannot let that happen. But I need your help. I need you to show them you can be different. Can you trust me enough to try?" Ashfire tilted her head, considering. Then she made a sound, low and rumbling. It sounded almost like a question. "I promise," Owen said firmly. "I will not hurt you. I will not use shocks or chains or any of that. I just want to talk to you like you are a person. Because I think you are. Will you let me try?" For a long moment, nothing happened. Then Ashfire lowered herself to the ground, her head coming to rest near the transparent wall. Her eyes stayed on Owen, but her body language changed. Less tense. Less defensive. It was permission. Owen smiled. "Thank you. I will come back tonight with food. Real food. Not whatever they have been giving you. We are going to figure this out together. I promise." When he left, Ashfire watched him go with something new in her expression. Hope. Owen stared at the meal portions in the staff cafeteria and made a choice that would probably get him fired. He loaded his tray with double servings, claiming he was extra hungry. Nobody questioned him. Humans were known for eating frequently. He smuggled half the food back to his quarters in his work bag, then waited for the night shift to begin. At midnight, he made his way back to the maximum security wing. His heart hammered against his ribs. If anyone caught him bringing unauthorized food to a restricted dragon, his job would end immediately. Possibly worse. But when he entered the observation corridor and saw Ashfire waiting by the wall, awake and alert, he knew it was worth the risk. "Hello," he said softly, pulling out the containers. "I brought dinner. I hope you like it. I was not sure what dragons eat, so I got a bit of everything." He opened the small pass-through slot meant for tool transfers. It was barely big enough, but he managed to slide the containers through. They fell into Ashfire's cell with soft thuds. Ashfire approached cautiously. She sniffed the food, then looked at Owen with clear suspicion. "It is safe," Owen promised. "I ate the same thing. No tricks, just food. You must be hungry. Please eat." The word "please" seemed to surprise her. She tilted her head, studying him. Then carefully she began to eat. Owen watched her devour the food in seconds. When she finished, she made a sound he had not heard before. Softer. Almost content. "Better?" Owen asked. Ashfire moved closer to the wall separating them. Up close, Owen could see scars on her scales. Burn marks from shock poles, cuts from chains, evidence of months of abuse. They hurt you so much, Owen whispered. I am so sorry. Nobody should be treated like that. I do not care what they say. You deserve better. Ashfire rumbled, a deep sound that vibrated through the floor. Owen took a breath. We have 2 days. 2 days to show them you are not a monster. I need to know what you can do. Can you fly? Ashfire snorted, looking toward the small cell. The space was barely large enough for her to spread her wings halfway. Right, stupid question. But you know how to fly, right? They taught you that much? Ashfire nodded. Actually nodded. Okay, good. What about fire? Can you breathe fire on command? This time, Ashfire's response was more complicated. She made a gesture with her head, then pawed at the ground in what looked like frustration. You can do it, but not when they want you to. Another nod. Owen understood. Because they hurt you when you do not perform. So you refuse to give them what they want. You are fighting back the only way you can. Ashfire's eyes confirmed it. Smart, Owen said. Really smart. But here is the problem. If you do not show them something in 2 days, they will kill you. I need you to trust me enough to demonstrate what you can do. Not for them. For yourself. To save your own life. Can you do that? Ashfire stared at him for a long time. Then she made a sound that was unmistakably a question. What do I get out of this? Owen translated. Fair question. Honestly, I get nothing. I might lose my job just for being here. But I cannot stand by and watch them kill someone just for defending themselves. You are not an asset. You are not a beast. You are a person trapped in a terrible situation and I want to help. That is all. Something shifted in Ashfire's expression. The suspicion faded, replaced by something that looked almost like wonder. She lowered her head until it nearly touched the transparent wall. Her enormous eye was level with Owen's face, so close he could see his reflection in it. Then she did something extraordinary. She made a sound, carefully modulated. It took Owen a moment to realize what it was. She was trying to say his name. Owen, he said, tears suddenly stinging his eyes. Yes, Owen. Owen, Ashfire rumbled. The sound not quite right, but absolutely intentional. Oh my God, Owen breathed. You can talk. Not just understand, you can actually talk. How is that possible? Ashfire made several more sounds, frustrated that she could not explain. But the message was clear. Dragons could learn language. Nobody had ever tried to teach them. Owen's mind raced with possibilities. Okay, here is what we are going to do. Tomorrow I'm going to request permission to work with you. They will probably say no, but I am going to try anyway. If they agree, we practice together. Flying, fire breathing, whatever they want to see. But no pain, no shock pulls, no chains. Just you and me working together. As equals, does that sound acceptable? Ashfire considered, then made another sound. This one was clearly yes. Good, but I need you to promise me something. Tomorrow, no matter what happens, you cannot hurt anyone, even if they deserve it. Even if you are scared or angry. If you hurt someone, they will terminate you immediately and I cannot stop them. Can you promise to control yourself? This promise was harder. Ashfire looked away, conflicted. I know, Owen said gently. I know they hurt you first. I know you are just defending yourself. But right now we need to play by their rules long enough to change the rules. Please, just 1 day of cooperation. Then we can work on making real changes. Please, Ashfire. That word again, please. Ashfire looked back at him. Slowly, deliberately, she nodded. Thank you, Owen said. Get some rest. Tomorrow is going to be difficult. He left the containers in her cell and made his way back to his quarters. His hands shook as he lay in bed staring at the ceiling. He had just promised to revolutionize dragon training at the Empire's premier facility. He was a 19-year-old human maintenance worker with no authority, no qualifications, and no backup plan. But he had Ashfire. And somehow that felt like enough. The next morning, Owen went straight to Headmaster Quilon's office. He knocked and waited, rehearsing his speech. Enter, Quilon's voice called. Owen stepped inside. The office was sparse and efficient like everything Tavrillian. Quilon sat behind a large desk, reviewing data on multiple screens. Maintenance worker Owen, Quilon said without looking up. You are not scheduled to be here. What do you need? Sir, I would like to request permission to work with a dragon called Ashfire. Now Quilon looked up. His expression was unreadable. Explain. She responds to me, Owen said, keeping his voice steady. I have been observing her for days. She is not mindless or evil. She is intelligent and scared. I believe I can demonstrate basic cooperation without violence or restraints. Give me one chance. If I fail, you lose nothing, but if I succeed, you save the most expensive dragon you have ever bred." Keelan was silent for a long moment. "Beverus will oppose this, strongly. With respect, sir, Beverus has failed 47 times. Maybe it is time for a different approach." Something that might have been amusement flickered across Keelan's face. "You have courage. Foolish courage, perhaps, but courage nonetheless." He tapped his desk, thinking, "Very well. You have until tomorrow evening. One supervised session in the training arena. If you show any meaningful progress, I will delay the termination and assign you as primary handler. If you fail, or if anyone is injured, you will be sent back to Earth immediately and Ashfire will be terminated." "Understood?" "Yes, sir." "Thank you, sir. Do not thank me yet, human. You may have just volunteered for your own funeral." Owen left the office with a mixture of excitement and terror. He had less than 30 hours to achieve what dozens of trained professionals could not accomplish in months. But as he headed back to see Ashfire with the news, he felt something he had not felt in a long time. Purpose. Owen spent every free moment with Ashfire, explaining what would happen in the demonstration. She listened carefully, occasionally making sounds that Owen was starting to understand as questions or concerns. Their communication was improving rapidly. It was not perfect, but it worked. "They will want you to fly in a circle around the arena," Owen explained, using his hands to demonstrate. "Then land on command. Then breathe fire at a target. Finally, you need to let someone ride you. That last part is the most important. They use dragons as military mounts. If you will not accept a rider, you are useless to them." Ashfire's reaction to that last part was immediate and hostile. She pulled back, growling low in her chest. "I know," Owen said quickly. "I know the idea scares you. They have only ever hurt you, so why would you let anyone on your back? But what if it was me? What if I was the rider? Would that be okay?" Ashfire went still. She studied Owen with those intelligent eyes, clearly thinking it through. "I weigh much less than a Tavrillian," Owen continued. "I will not use a saddle with spikes or restraints. No reins, no bit, no control devices. Just me sitting on your back, trusting you completely. You would have all the power. If you wanted to throw me off, you could. I would be trusting you with my life. Does that make it different?" Ashfire moved closer to the transparent wall. She lowered her head until she was eye level with Owen. Then, very carefully, she made a sound he recognized. "Owen. Trust." Owen felt his throat tighten. "Yes, trust. We trust each other. That is how this works. Not fear. Not pain. Trust." Ashfire rumbled her agreement. They spent the rest of the day going over details. Owen wished he could practice with her in the actual arena. But Quilon had been clear. One session. That was all he got. They would have to hope that their understanding was enough. That evening, another human maintenance worker found Owen in the cafeteria. Her name was Ruth, and she had been on Drakenhold for 6 months. "Is it true?" she asked, sitting down across from him. "You are going to work with the Red Dragon? The one who almost killed senior trainer Beverus last month." "She did not almost kill him," Owen corrected. "She defended herself when he shocked her repeatedly." "There is a difference," Ruth looked impressed. "Everyone is talking about it. The Tavrillians think you are insane. Most of them have bets on how long you survive. Under 30 seconds is the popular choice." "That is encouraging," Owen said dryly. "But some of the younger trainers are curious," Ruth continued. "They have noticed how the dragons respond to you. Even the difficult ones. One trainer told me humans might have a natural calming effect on aggressive creatures. They are talking about requesting more human workers if you succeed." "If I succeed," Owen echoed. Ruth reached across the table and squeezed his hand. "You know what you are doing. I have seen you with animals. You have a gift. Trust yourself." Owen wished he felt as confident as Ruth sounded. That night he visited Ashfire one last time before the demonstration. She was restless, pacing her cell. When she saw Owen, she rushed to the wall. "Scared?" she rumbled. "Me too," Owen admitted. "But we are going to do this together. You and me, partners. Nobody has ever treated you like a partner before, have they?" Ashfire shook her head. "Well, that changes tomorrow. Tomorrow you show them what you can really do. Not because they are forcing you. Because you choose to. That is the difference. Choice. They have never given you a choice before." Ashfire made a sound that was almost like a laugh. bitter and sad. Never. Choice, never. Tomorrow you have a choice, Owen promised. You can cooperate and live, or you can refuse and die. I will not force you either way. It is your life. Your decision. I will support whatever you choose. This concept seemed to shock HFY. She stared at Owen for a long time. Then she lowered her massive head and made a gesture that looked unmistakably like a bow. Owen. Good. Friend. Owen swallowed hard. You are a good friend too, HFY. Get some sleep. Big day tomorrow. He left her there and tried to sleep himself, but his mind would not stop racing. What if he was wrong? What if HFY panicked in the arena? What if the crowd scared her? What if Beverus interfered? What if... He forced himself to stop. Worrying would not help. He had done everything he could to prepare. The rest was up to HFY, and he believed in her. The next morning arrived too quickly. Owen reported to the arena at dawn. The space was enormous, built for large-scale dragon combat training. High walls surrounded an open field with various obstacles and targets. Viewing platforms ringed the top, already filling with curious spectators. Quilon was there, along with Beverus and a dozen other senior trainers. They all watched Owen approach with expressions ranging from curiosity to open contempt. Last chance to withdraw, Beverus said. This creature will kill you, human. Your death will be quick at least. She will not kill me, Owen said firmly. She is not a killer. We shall see. Beverus gestured to the handlers. Bring the dragon. The main gate opened. 6 handlers led HFY out, bound in heavy chains. She was muzzled. Her wings were clamped and shock collars ringed her neck. She looked terrified and furious at the same time. Owen felt anger surge through him. Take those off. Absolutely not, Beverus snapped. She is a dangerous... I said take them off. Owen's voice was louder than he intended. You want me to demonstrate control? Fine. But I cannot do that while she is in pain and terror. Remove the restraints. All of them now, Quilon raised one hand. Do it! Headmaster, that is extremely unwise. Do it, Beverus. The human was promised one attempt without our methods. Honor that promise, Beverus looked furious but nodded to the handlers. They approached HFY cautiously, removing the muzzle first, then the wing clamps, finally the chains. The shock collars came off last. HFY shook herself, spreading her wings fully for the first time in months. The sight was magnificent. She looked like freedom personified. Several trainers stepped back instinctively. Then HFY's eyes found Owen. He walked forward slowly, arms at his sides, showing he had no weapons or tools. The crowd went silent. Even Beverus stopped breathing. Owen stopped 10 feet from HFY. The massive dragon could close that distance in a heartbeat. One swipe of her claws would kill him instantly. Hello, HFY, Owen said quietly. Are you ready? For a moment, nothing happened. Then HFY lowered her head in that gesture Owen now recognized as respect. She made a sound, clear and deliberate, ready. The crowd gasped. A dragon had just spoken, Owen smiled. Then let us show them what real cooperation looks like. Not because we have to, because we choose to. Together. HFY spread her wings and roared, not in rage or pain, in defiance, in hope. The demonstration was about to begin. Silence filled the arena like water filling a glass. Hundreds of Tavrillians stared down from the viewing platforms, waiting to see blood. Waiting to see the human torn apart. Some looked eager. Others looked uncomfortable. All of them watched. Owen ignored them. His entire world narrowed to HFY. First part is simple, he said, keeping his voice calm and conversational. I need you to fly around the arena. Just once, show them how strong you are. Can you do that for me, please? HFY tilted her head, considering. Then she crouched low, muscles bunching beneath her crimson scales. With one powerful leap, she launched herself into the air. The crowd gasped. Several trainers actually stepped back from the edge of the platforms. HFY soared upward, her wings beating with incredible power. She circled the arena once, twice, 3 times. Not because she was commanded to. Because she wanted to. Because she could. Because for the first time in months, she was free to simply fly. She made a sound that Owen could only describe as joyful. Beautiful, Owen called up to her. You are amazing. HFY completed one final circle, then descended in a graceful spiral. She landed 10 feet from Owen with barely a sound despite her massive size. Her landing was so controlled, so precise that several trainers made impressed noises. Beverus looked furious. Any dragon can fly. That proves nothing. Owen turned to face him. Can any dragon land that gently? Can any dragon fly without being shocked into obedience? She just did both. Before Beverus could respond, Keylon spoke. Continue the demonstration. Fire breathing. Target the practice stones. Owen looked at the large stone blocks set up across the arena. Then he looked at Ashfire. Can you hit those targets with fire? Please take your time. Make it accurate. Show them your control. Ashfire rumbled acknowledgement. She turned toward the nearest stone, her chest expanding as she drew breath. The fire that erupted from her mouth was like nothing Owen had ever imagined. It was not wild or chaotic. It was focused, controlled, a stream of flame that hit the stone target with precision. The stone began to glow red, then white, then started to melt. Ashfire moved to the second target. Another perfect stream of fire. Then the third. Then the fourth. Each one melted to slag within seconds. The crowd was completely silent now. This was not the fire of a beast. This was the fire of a trained weapon, but achieved without pain, without force, without cruelty. Impossible, one trainer whispered. She refused that exercise 83 times. How? Because he asked, another trainer said, sounding awed. The human asked her to do it. He did not command. He did not threaten. He asked. Owen heard them and felt a surge of hope. They were starting to understand. Keylon's voice rang out across the arena. Final test. The dragon must accept a rider, demonstrate control while mounted. This was the moment Owen had been dreading. Everything depended on the bond he had built with Ashfire. If she panicked, if she decided she did not want him on her back, the demonstration would fail. She would die, and probably so would he. Owen walked closer to Ashfire. Close enough to touch. He placed his hand on her side, feeling the warmth of her scales. This is the hard part, he said quietly. Just for her. They need to see you can carry a rider. But I will not force you. If you do not want me on your back, I will tell them no. It is your choice. Always your choice. What do you want to do? Ashfire looked at him with those intelligent eyes. Then she did something that made Owen's heart stop. She lowered herself to the ground, folding her legs beneath her, making it easy for him to climb up. She was saying yes. Thank you. Owen whispered. Thank you for trusting me. He climbed onto her back, settling between her shoulder blades. There was no saddle, no harness, no safety restraints. Just him and Ashfire and trust. I am ready when you are, Owen said. Ashfire stood smoothly. Then, with no warning, she launched into the air. The arena dropped away below them. Wind rushed past Owen's face as they climbed higher and higher. He had never flown before, never experienced anything like this. It was terrifying and exhilarating and absolutely incredible. Ashfire leveled out, then began to move through aerial maneuvers. She banked left then right. She dove toward the ground, pulling up at the last second. She spun in a barrel roll that should have thrown Owen off, but he held on, trusting her to keep him safe. And she did. Every movement was controlled. Every turn was calculated to keep him secure. She was not just carrying him. She was protecting him. They flew together for several minutes, performing maneuvers that would normally require years of training to achieve. The crowd below was going wild. Owen could hear shouting, but he could not tell if it was excitement or outrage. Finally, Ashfire descended. She landed in the center of the arena so gently that Owen barely felt the impact. He slid off her back, his legs shaky from adrenaline. That was amazing, he told her, grinning like an idiot. You are absolutely amazing. Ashfire made a pleased sound, then did something unexpected. She nuzzled her massive head against Owen's chest, a gesture of pure affection. The crowd erupted. Trainers were arguing on the platforms. Some looked impressed. Others looked horrified. Beverus looked like he wanted to murder someone. Keylon descended from the viewing platform, his expression unreadable. He walked to the center of the arena, studying Owen and Ashfire carefully. Explain how you achieved this, Keylon demanded. Owen took a breath. I treated her with respect. I asked instead of commanded. I gave her choices instead of forcing obedience. I showed her that cooperation is better than domination. She is not a beast or a weapon. She is a person. And persons respond to kindness. Keylon was quiet for a long moment. This contradicts everything we know about dragon training. With respect, sir, maybe what you know is wrong. More silence. Then Keylon turned to address the crowd. Effective immediately, Owen Fletcher is appointed lead consultant for Dragon Cooperation Programs. He will develop new training protocols based on his methods. Bevrus, you will provide him full access to all facilities and personnel. Bevrus looked like he might explode. Headmaster, you cannot be serious. This human has no training, no qualifications. He has results. Keelan cut him off. Results that none of you achieved in months of effort. We paid millions for this dragon. Because of him, that investment is saved. The decision is final. He turned back to Owen. You have demonstrated something remarkable today. But one dragon is not enough. Can you replicate this with others? Can you train other handlers in your methods? Owen looked at Ashfire. She rumbled encouragement. Yes, sir, Owen said. I can. Then you have your assignment. Start with the problem dragons, the ones we plan to terminate. If you can save even half of them, you will have earned your position 100 times over. Owen felt excitement and terror in equal measure. He had just been given the authority to change everything, but also the responsibility. If he failed now, it would not just be Ashfire who suffered. As the crowd dispersed, still arguing about what they had witnessed, Ruth appeared at the arena entrance. She was grinning. You did it, she said. You actually did it. We did it, Owen corrected, looking at Ashfire. It was always we. Ashfire rumbled agreement, then made a sound that was clearly meant to be laughter. Owen smiled. This was just the beginning. There were dozens of dragons here, many of them suffering under the old methods, but now he had a chance to help them all, one dragon at a time. One choice at a time, one moment of respect at a time. It would not be easy, but it would be worth it. 4 months after the demonstration, Owen stood in what used to be the maximum security wing. The shock poles were gone. The chains were gone. The cells had been modified with comfortable resting areas and enrichment features. It looked less like a prison and more like a home. Ashfire dozed in her new space, which was 3 times larger than her old cell. She had gained weight, her scales were brighter, and she looked genuinely content. When she noticed Owen watching, she made a happy rumbling sound. Good morning, Owen said, smiling. Ready for today's session? Ashfire stood and stretched, her wings spreading wide. Ready, she vocalized, her pronunciation much improved after months of practice. They walked together to the training arena. Not the large demonstration arena, but a smaller practice space where Owen worked with the difficult cases. 3 dragons waited there with their assigned handlers. All 3 had been scheduled for termination before Owen intervened. Morning, everyone, Owen called out. The handlers waved. 2 were Tavrillians who had volunteered to learn the new methods. 1 was a human woman named Ruth who had transferred from maintenance to training. Stormsong is making excellent progress, Ruth reported. The blue dragon beside her chirped happily. She completed all the aerial exercises yesterday without a single issue. I think she is ready for rider training. That is wonderful, Owen said. Stormsong, how do you feel about carrying Ruth on your back? Only if you are comfortable. No pressure. Stormsong considered this, then made a sound that Owen had learned meant agreement. Fantastic. Ruth, remember what we practiced. Let her control the pace. You are a passenger, not a commander. Ask her before trying any maneuvers. Ruth nodded and carefully climbed onto Stormsong's back. The dragon took off smoothly, and they began practicing basic flight patterns. Owen watched with pride. Ruth was a natural at this. One of the Tavrillian handlers approached with his dragon, a scarred gray male named Granite. He still flinches when I move too quickly. The trauma from the old training runs deep. That is normal, Owen assured him. It took Ashfire weeks to stop expecting pain. Just keep being patient and consistent. Show him that fast movements do not mean danger anymore. Here, watch. Owen walked to Granite and raised his hand quickly. The dragon tensed but did not pull away. Good boy, see? Nothing bad happened. Fast movement is just movement. It does not equal pain anymore. Granite slowly relaxed. The Tavrillian handler tried the same gesture, and after a moment, Granite accepted it. Progress, Owen said. That is all we need. Small steps forward every day. The morning session continued smoothly. By lunchtime, all 3 dragons had shown improvement. Owen dismissed the group and headed to the administrative building. He had a meeting with Keelan to discuss expansion of the program. The headmaster's office looked different now. The sparse efficiency had been softened with plants and better lighting. Keelan had admitted, somewhat reluctantly, that human ideas about workplace comfort actually improved productivity. Owen, sit. Keelan gestured to a chair. I have news. The military command has reviewed your results. They are impressed. Very impressed. That is good, right? They want to implement your methods across all dragon facilities in the Empire. 23 installations, 3,000 dragons. They want you to oversee the transition. Owen felt the weight of that responsibility. That is a lot. It is unprecedented, Keelan agreed. They are also requesting human trainers for other programs. War beasts, diplomatic animals, even companion creatures. Your success has opened many doors. I cannot do it alone, Owen said immediately. I will need a team. Experienced people who understand the philosophy, not just the techniques. Can we hire more humans? Can we train more Tavrilians who want to learn? Already approved. You will have whatever resources you need. Quilon paused. There is more. The Merchants Guild has noticed your work. They want to hire you as a consultant for their livestock management programs. The Academic Council wants you to lecture on interspecies communication. And the Colonial Office wants your input on first contact protocols with newly discovered species. Owen's head spun. I am just a guy who was nice to a dragon. You are the person who proved that cooperation is more effective than domination. That has implications far beyond dragon training. Quilon's expression softened slightly. The Empire has existed for thousands of years, built on hierarchy and control. You challenged that foundation in 4 months. That is not small, Owen. That is revolutionary. Revolutionary. The word felt too big for someone who still thought of himself as a farm kid from Colorado. I will do my best, Owen said. But I need one condition. Ashfire comes with me. Wherever I go, whatever I do, she is my partner. Not my property. My partner. That is non-negotiable. Already assumed, Keelan said. She is registered as your co-consultant. Equal rank, equal authority, which means she is technically my superior now, which is amusing in ways I cannot fully articulate. Owen laughed. She is going to love that. There is one more thing. Keelan pulled up a holographic display. A distress call came in this morning from a colony world in the outer sectors. They are having conflicts with the native species. Large winged fire-breathing creatures that are attacking settlements. The military wants to exterminate them. I told them to wait. I suggested they send you instead. You want me to negotiate with wild dragons? I want you to determine if they are dragons at all, and if so, why they are attacking. The colonists assumed the creatures were mindless beasts. Given your track record, I think that assumption should be questioned. Owen thought about it.
A chance to prevent a genocide.
A chance to establish peaceful contact instead of violent conflict. A chance to show that his methods worked not just in training facilities, but in the real world. When do we leave? 3 days. You, Ashfire, and a small diplomatic team. The ship is being prepared now. Owen stood. Then I should get ready. Thank you, Headmaster, for believing in this, for giving me the chance. Keelan stood as well. Thank you for teaching an old empire new tricks. We thought our way was the only way. You showed us we were wrong. That takes courage. Owen left the office and headed back to find Ashfire. She was playing with Stormsong and Granite in the recreation yard, a space that had not existed 4 months ago. The 3 dragons were clearly communicating, making sounds and gestures that had meaning. Ashfire, Owen called. We have a new assignment. Ashfire trotted over, curiosity clear in her eyes. What kind? A colony world with dragon problems. They want us to negotiate instead of fight. Interested? Ashfire's eyes gleamed. Yes, help dragons, good. That is what I thought too. Owen scratched her chin, which she loved. We are going to change things, you and I, one dragon at a time. One world at a time. One moment of respect at a time. Ashfire rumbled agreement. Then she said something that made Owen's heart full. Owen and Ashfire. Partners, friends, family. Yeah, Owen said, his voice thick with emotion. Family. Later that evening, Owen sat in his quarters writing a message to his parents back on Earth. He tried to explain everything that had happened, but words felt inadequate. How did you explain forming a bond with a dragon? How did you describe changing an empire's entire approach to animal care? How did you tell your family that you had found your purpose among the stars? He did his best, then added a final paragraph. I used to think I was just a farm kid with a knack for animals, but Ashfire taught me something important. Kindness is not weakness. Respect is not softness. And the most powerful word in any language is not a command or a threat.
It is, please.
It is, thank you. It is, I trust you. Those words change everything. They changed me. They changed Ashfire. And somehow they are changing an entire empire. I do not know where this journey leads, but I know I am exactly where I am supposed to be. Say hello to the horses for me. Tell them their training partner is doing good work out here. Love, Owen. He sent the message and looked out his window at the alien sky. Somewhere on the other side of the facility, Ashfire was sleeping peacefully, safe and valued and respected. 6 months ago, she had been scheduled for execution. Now she was family. That was the power of choosing kindness. That was the power of seeing people instead of tools. That was the power of a single word spoken with genuine respect. Please, it had saved a dragon's life. It had changed an empire's heart, and it had given a farm kid from Earth a purpose that reached across the stars. Tomorrow, they would start preparing for the new mission. Tomorrow there would be new challenges and new dragons to help. But tonight Owen allowed himself to simply feel proud. Proud of Ashfire. Proud of what they had accomplished together. Proud of the future they were building. A future where cooperation mattered more than domination. A future where every voice deserved to be heard. A future where please was the most powerful word in the galaxy.